Hello, everyone. Welcome to CeriseFairfax.com. Today, we are going to be speaking about a very important topic, especially in today's society where people are trying to seek spirituality a little bit more than they did in the past. What is spirituality? Well, spirituality does differ from religion. Religion is something that is taught to an individual. It has usually textbooks, literature, something that has a teacher and then also a student. Spirituality is something that is not so much taught but more felt. It is the power that is within you to make you feel that beautiful joy, that peace, that happiness, that confidence and faith to know that tomorrow will be a different day. Even though it may not be a better day and the troubles that we're of today may be carried into tomorrow, a spiritual person tends to think that this too shall pass. So today what we're going to speak about is growing spiritually. And what I'm going to do is just give you a few tips on how you can strengthen your spirituality, whether you're at home, in a group, if you do decide to go to church, or if it's just on your way to work. Okay, so these are just little tips that you can do throughout your day. Whichever one works for you, go ahead and turn it on. But this is what we do. First of all, when you are meditating, that's one thing that you can do when you're trying to grow spiritually. A lot of people ask, well, what is meditation? Meditation, is it closing off the mind so you really aren't able to think any thoughts at all? Well, for me and for many other people who I have guided in meditation, it's quite difficult to turn off that mind. So it's very important to go through the thoughts, each thought like a Rolodex. Let each thought come at you, think about it, let it go. And let the thoughts go. And then start replacing them with better thoughts. Now, when you're meditating, it's very important to find a quiet place and devote yourself to at least 5 minutes per day to peace and serenity. Now, that's even if you decide not to meditate and if you're just the type of person who rather just sit quietly and just think, then think for 5 minutes about really good spiritual stuff. Allow only positive thoughts to go through your mind. Turn off the television and any loud distractions if you can. Make this a concentrated time of spiritual emphasis. Make it a devotional time where only you and God are present in your mind. If you are doing your devotionals during a mealtime, then let the meal become part of your appreciation. For instance, if you're doing a devotional with your family at dinner time around the table and you like to do your prayer then and you like to ask for guidance and love from God before you eat your meal, then also bring the meal into appreciation by thanking the hands that fed, that made the meal, and for God for feeding you the meal. That also, that gratitude and appreciation increases the spirit's joy. When you are out on the street even, do not hesitate to grab spiritual literature. Even if it's religious, it's still good to get, not so you can fall into a cultish trap of, let's say, whatever is out on the street, but just so you can maybe get certain Bible quotes that are really good, and then you can go back and read them yourself and study them yourself. Or perhaps there might be a sentence in the pamphlet that might inspire you and encourage you. I always suggest that people, when you pick up literature on the street, don't read it like it's the gospel, because sometimes it can be skewed for that person's understanding, but make it to your own understanding and always research pamphlets that you get. When you are out on the street as well and you see people and you're in a bad mood and people are getting in your way, you're walking, but yet people just seem to be getting in your way constantly. And even though you're in a bad mood, you're still respecting other people's company as they're walking by you and you're stepping out of their way, but nevertheless, people are still annoying you. and it's causing you to look around and be like, oh, that stupid person, or that crazy man, or why are they smoking their cigarette and the smoke coming in and behind me so I can smell it. All these negative thoughts chip away at the spirit. So when you're outside, don't do that. Look for beautiful things. So if a woman is coming towards you and she gets in your way, take notice of her beautiful scarf, hat, and mitts. Right now it's winter time, so that's the reason why I'm saying hat, scarf, and mitts. But if it's the summertime, take a look at her wonderful sandals. They could be just imported or handmade. Like take notice of the beautiful things around that person that you might not like their personality, but you might like something about them that you can pick as opposed to picking something negative. And that will also increase your spirituality when you are recognizing beauty in people as opposed to the negative. When you are seeking direction from the divine, ask questions. You might not get the answers right away, but if you seek the answers after asking the question, you will get the answer. Sometimes you can seek too much and it's best just to sit back. So you have to be very careful. There's a fine line. What is the fine line? Ask your question, seek. Read it and see if you find it in the Bible. See if you find it in the literature that you're reading. However, you might want to go online on Google and get different people's opinions. At the end of the day, if nothing is appeasing you and the answers you are getting is not comforting enough, then you will get the answer from God in time. But do not be afraid to ask questions from the divine. And be specific. Phrase your questions like you would to a friend. God reads your heart. The divine universe reads your character, the fruit of your spirit. And what is the fruit of the spirit? Love, joy, peace. You can write these down. I'll go over them again. Love, joy, peace, self-control, patience, faithfulness, gentleness, goodness, kindness. Those are 9 fruits of the Spirit. Once you use those in an everyday setting, you will increase your spirituality. Now, just one more note. Prayer, it does not mean that you have to do a long dedication or devotion to God. God knows your heart. Just because you're going to bed and you don't need to feel bad if you didn't spend 10 minutes talking to God. The key is to talk to God throughout the day in your head. So when something good happens to you throughout the day, say thank you, God. And that's talking to God. When you go to bed at night and if you have the willingness, or if you usually pray before you go to bed, just keep in mind that sometimes the longer the prayer doesn't mean the more respect you get from God. Okay? Sometimes just saying, hi, God, I love you, is respect enough. Keep that in mind. Now, you might, just to end here, you might want to create a prayer list or a book, because this does a few things. One, when you have a prayer list, you keep track of the people who you prayed for. And then when, let's say you spoke to your friend on the street in April and they told you that they had a pain in their knee, you kind of look back over your notes. When you're meeting up with that friend again, you can ask them, so how's that pain in your knee? How did that go? It shows them concern. But not only that, they were on your prayer list, so you pray for them. Okay? And it also increases your goodwill and your karma. Why? Because how we treat others is how we will be treated. Keep that in mind. The next time you treat someone really well, you're going to get that back. Always. Maybe not from that same person, but you'll get it back. Somewhere, somehow, some way, you will be blessed. Thank you very much for listening to me, Cerise Fairfax from CeriseFairfax.com. Please look out for the rest of the videos on YouTube. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.